All right, folks, Samori Benjamin here with a special guest, all right, former longtime NBA player and also St. John's University player, Bill Wennington. Bill, nice to meet you, and thanks for joining me.
Samori, pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so Bill, I know that you are from Canada. So just first, growing up in Canada, how did you get into basketball?
Actually, I played every sport before basketball. I played hockey, soccer, baseball, football, tennis, and when I was 12 years old, I had a size 14 skate. Couldn't play hockey anymore. So a gentleman came up to me and asked me if I'd ever played basketball because I was 6'2", and I hadn't. So I started playing a little bit, and I was horrible, but I liked it and loved it and stuck with it.
Okay, in the 70s growing up, how much was the NBA and Major League Baseball on TV for you in Canada?
Before I started playing basketball, I never watched. I was just watching hockey and a little bit of baseball with the Montreal Expos and obviously the Canadians. But once I started playing, we'd see a little bit. They'd have a game of a week. We saw Philadelphia, in Montreal, we saw the Philadelphia 76ers play a little. The Lakers were on a little bit, so being a big man, I liked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But Dr. J was always fun to watch as a kid.
Nice. So you ended up at St. John's, but before that, you get introduced to basketball, all right, and you started playing in Canada. So what was the basketball landscape like for you in high school growing up?
I was pretty good in Canada. When I was 16, I was 6'10", and I don't want to say I dominated, but I played well. I was the MVP of the provincial tournament, which is like the state championship. And then I moved to New York and found out that I was just tall. I wasn't really a good basketball player because I went to Long Island Lutheran High School, went to summer camp, and had some guys at camp. Darryl Carter, I was 6'10", and he was at the time probably 6'6", 6'8", tops, just break me down. And I realized I had to work a lot harder. But Bob McKillop, who was the high school coach at Lutheran, at Lehigh, and really remolded my game and taught me that I could work a lot harder than I was, and that if I applied myself, I wouldn't be just tall. I can actually be a good basketball player.
And so from there, you end up at St. John's. How did you end up at St. John's?
I was highly recruited in high school. Was McDonald's All-American back in 1985 with there were a couple of has-been players. What's his name? Chris Mullin, Michael Jordan. Just guys that
81, right?
81,
okay.
Yeah. And so played with them and decided I wanted to stay in New York. I was recruited. Duke wanted me, and Virginia were my final three schools with St. John's, but I wanted to stay home in New York.
Just really quick, do you ever look back, and eventually you became teammates with Michael Jordan, do you ever look back to when you all were in high school, McDonald's an All-American game, and think that, hey, I had no idea that Mike would have become the player that he became?
Well, I don't think anyone could have projected he'd be that good. I knew in the McDonald's All-American game he was going to be a good player. He was very talented, super talented, and you could see he was driven and very competitive. We saw that riding to the games on the buses. But I don't think anyone is being honest if they said they thought he'd be what the icon he is today.
Now, St. John's, of course, plays here at the Garden, and the Big East tournament was around when you were playing and all that. So what was it like to be able to just play in the Big East at that time? Of course, Patrick Ewing is in the Big East at Georgetown, and so much great Big East basketball, and of course the Big East tournament here at the Garden.
Yeah, Dave Gavitt did a phenomenal job forming the Big East and getting TV contract for the Big East. And the schools that were in it, Georgetown, St. John's, Syracuse, another local school, Seton Hall, was big, in Connecticut. We had some battles and played well. At Boston College, obviously you don't want to forget them, but it was a lot of fun, and the talent was big. And I played in the '84 Olympics with Team Canada. We went to California, and my teammates were amazed at how many people came up and said, "Bill Wennington, St. John's." Like, how did they know you? You go to school 3,000 miles away from here. But the Big East was so popular, we were on national TV every week, and just a great time. And obviously playing at St. John's with Lou Conaseca was phenomenal.
And how was that experience, '84 Olympics?
That was a lot of fun. We played the U.S. because I was with Canada. We played the U.S. in the Olympics, and we obviously lost. I thought that USA team was very good. It was one of the best teams. And if people talk about the Dream Team, came out after that. But that, honestly, in '84, that was all college kids. And Bob Knight did a great job molding that team, and it was the high school kid Steve Alford, who I played with in Dallas later on, was on that team. But Chris Mullin, Patrick Ewing, Michael Jordan, Sam Perkins. That was a phenomenal team to play against. And Canada did well. We finished 4th. It was a good time. It's very frustrating when you don't reach your goals, but a great overall experience.
Now you mentioned Dream Team, 92, your Canada team just missed the Olympics. I do know that.
Yep.
So how is that for you to just miss the Olympics in 92 and not be able to play against the Dream Team in Barcelona?
Well, it was tough. The Dream Team was, I mean, they were unstoppable, really. We did play them in Portland in the pre-Americas tournament, and we lost to them. And it was a close game at halftime. I think at halftime we were down maybe 6 points. It wasn't bad. And a couple of our guards, or they were younger players, started talking some trash to Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. And I kid you not, within 2 minutes we were down 30, and it was just over. And I'm looking at them like, why would you say anything? It's like, just let sleeping dogs lie. And if at that with that team, with the Dream Team, if you lost by under 10 points, you were heroes.
Right, and that sounds about right. That's a funny story. Now, really quickly, I got to ask you about the Final Four in '85 with St. John's, and there were 3 Big East schools in that Final Four. Yourself, of course, Georgetown, Villanova, who won the entire championship. What was the mood like just being in the Final Four and having 3 of you all Big East teams in the Final Four?
Well, having 3 teams there was great familiarity, so it was good, and we understood that, you know, the Big East was real because, you know, you have 3 of the best teams in the country all in one league playing each other. The bad part was we knew how tough Villanova and Georgetown were, so if we had to play them, it was going to be a real battle to make things happen, obviously in a positive way. And Georgetown unfortunately beat us in the semifinals, and went on, and Villanova came out and played them real well and won. But you know, the Final Four is just a phenomenal experience for any college athlete, basketball player, to be a part of, and great memories going there. And in Kentucky was a lot of fun.
Okay, couple more for you. Just what was it like just playing with Chris Mullin and Mark Jackson at St. John's?
Playing with Chris and Mark is phenomenal, and that really helped prepare me to get in the NBA, because those guys worked harder than anyone else at their craft and their games. And Chrissy's the original Jim Rat, and Mark Jackson just followed his footsteps, and both of them know how to play the game and see the game at a different speed, and they make everyone else around them better. And I credit both those guys for helping me to get my NBA career, because they made me better every day, challenged me to be at my best and pay attention all the time.
Okay, and like I said, you played here several times in college and in the pros. Now, you were a Bulls player with Michael Jordan, and of course, one of the really famous moments in your career and Knicks Bulls rivalry history was Jordan's double nickel game, and he found you under the basket in the last second. Instead of shooting the ball, he passed you under the basket, you threw it down. But what was it like, just first of all, playing at the Garden and being able to come back as an opposing player to play here and then playing with Michael?
Well, I love playing the Garden. Obviously with St. John's, we played here a lot. This was our home court. Obviously in the Big East back then, St. John's very good. We had a lot of games here. As a matter of fact, my senior year, every Big East game except for our last game against Villanova was here at the Garden.
That's awesome.
And obviously senior night back on campus against Villanova. But this basket right here is where Michael passed me the ball. And you know, when I tell the story, I ask people, I said, what was Patrick Ewing doing leaving me under the basket wide open? It's not like Michael had 55 points. Oh wait, he did. And just a great moment. But playing on that team was special. Michael made us all great. And obviously that was the first year he came back. The next year we went on to win 72 games and win the championship. But again, the professionalism and the talent that Michael and Scotty had, but they pushed themselves and worked harder than anyone else. It was just like playing with Chris and Mark again, and understanding that I had to work hard to keep up.
So how was it to be able to win those championships with the Bulls? Like I say, championships with Michael and the Bulls.
It was great. I love winning, and playing with those two guys. If you pay attention and do the right things, you're going to make the team better. And I came to Chicago on a 1-month contract, and I'm still there now as a broadcaster. So I think it worked out. But you know, they push you to work harder, and when you can reach the pinnacle of your job, whatever it is, whether you're a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, a plumber, you become the best. It means something that stays with you forever. And it was just a phenomenal time to be a Chicago Bull. the memories that we had and the friendships that we share are outstanding.
The last one for you, a two-part question. It's about two programs who I know you have a lot of love for. One St. John's and one the Canadian basketball team. Now St. John's, Rick Pitino's first year. St. John's really has not been a national championship contender legitimately for about 20 years since Mike Jarvis was here. So what do you see? Do you have hope that Pitino can really make them a legit contender again? And Canada basketball, I know you all really are probably the second favorites to win everything. You guys have the most NBA players aside the USA. So how about that in 2024?
I'll start with Canada. 17 Canadian NBA players playing presently in the NBA. They've done a phenomenal job. Basketball has grown so much bigger now than when I was a kid. Now they have games and leagues, and guys are playing. A lot of guys now are coming to the States on scholarships and playing basketball. So it's really great to see that. And obviously Canada basketball, which runs the Olympic teams, has grown and is doing a much better job now promoting it and getting these guys to be interested in the national program. So for me, it's great to see that, because I love the game of basketball, and I think it can help a lot of these guys and give people opportunities to do things that maybe they haven't been able to do before. For St. John's, I think Rick Pitino's, it's his first year. He hasn't even been there 8 months, and what he's done already has been phenomenal. I know they were out in Hofstra. They beat Hofstra the other day. They had a tough game a week or two ago against Connecticut, but they're playing well. He's got a whole bunch of, he's been able to recruit and get guys to come to the school. It's building up. Again, it's his first year, but I really think he's turning the program around. He's going to make great things happen at St. John's again.
All right, folks, the last time St. John's was in the Final Four, he was in it with St. John's, 1985. All right, long-time NBA player, NBA champion, Bill Wennington. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right, folks, we're back. Thank you.